Hey everyone, welcome to episode 5 of season 3 of Where's That Bar Card? I'm one of your hosts, Nick Dury. Alongside me, as always, is.
Hey, I'm Gina Phillips.
I am Daryl Purvis.
And there's usually a pause here while we wait for Monty, but if we did that, it would be a very long pause because Monty is in the woods somewhere doing Monty things. He's not able to join us today.
I feel like Monty's always in the woods somewhere,
Well,
but this time let's
metaphorically, yes. Yeah.
What do we think he's doing? Like building a fort or something, So he gets an idea and he'd just go for it and spend the whole day doing it. That's what I feel Monty would be doing, camping.
Strangely, there's a gas leak where he is, so he had to evacuate.
He had to evacuate the outdoors. Excellent.
Yeah, well, he's in a cabin surrounded by other cabins, apparently.
Oh, okay.
And his cabin had a gas leak or something.
That's too good.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. Take the boy out of Scarborough. But exciting, we're back with a guest. I feel like I should pass it over to Gina to intro today's guest, given your background.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with this guy for about 6 years straight and continue to here and there. So we were not only colleagues. I would call us friends. I don't know if he'd agree. So
Gina doesn't even consider us friends. That's a big deal. We're just colleagues.
Not true at all. I liked you guys the moment I met you. Yeah, so I hosted Score Golf TV, so it was on TSN a few years ago. Unfortunately, went down because of the pandemic. But the person who originally brought me on board, Jason Logan, is the guy that we are interviewing today. He is one of the most knowledgeable golf people in this country. He has won multiple golf journalism awards. He was my co-host for 5 seasons of Score Golf TV, and he continues to be the editor of Score Golf magazine. So let's get up for Jason Logan.
Just to backtrack, has anybody ever fallen further than hosting a TV show and then ending up on a podcast with us?
I think about this all the time, Daryl. All the time. Jason's going to be like, you're doing what now?
Oh, we're both guests? No.
No.
I see it on Gina's face whenever she does log into the Zoom. It's just a look of general disappointment that she quickly masks over, and then she, then she's a pro. So but every time she logs in and sees our 3 mugs, it's
she's a great actor. She's been on Up the Creek.
Yeah, Up the Creek. Who can forget her appearance on Up the Creek
with Pascal Perez?
Oh, that's good. Oh, Up the Creek. It launched my career.
Yeah, and look at you now. Well, yeah, enjoy this week's episode, everyone. Did an intro already where Gina said she actually doesn't even consider you a colleague; she considers you a friend, which made Carol and I jealous because I don't think she considers us that. But can talk about the first time you met Gina? Do you remember?
Well, I guess it would have been in the interview process, right? So we had the Score Golf TV show for many years that Bob Weeks hosted, and then Bob left us, and I was kind of tasked with taking over the TV show, but I didn't really have the time to both be the editor of the magazine and then go on the road a lot. So we said, well, we should hire somebody to do the travel component to the TV show. So we put out an application. We had so many people apply because it basically said, you get to travel across Canada and go and play golf courses and see golf courses, et cetera, et cetera. And so we whittled that down. And I think, if I remember, I think in the end we had 3 candidates. Gina was one of them. And I was vehemently opposed to hiring her, but I was overruled. No, actually, if I recall, I was the one that was saying like we should hire Gina. And I hate to like pump her tires as she's staring right at me here.
Oh, please don't.
We didn't know who she was, which was a really good thing. I think the other 2 candidates were kind of in sports. I think one was working at TSN at the time. I think the other one was like a really, really, really keen and serious golfer. And weren't looking for that because we already had a keen and serious golfer in me. So we wanted somebody that was completely different from me. And we just could tell Gina, like, had a great personality. She was all about fun. She had some golfing background, and we kind of sat there and said, like, who do we hire? And we just decided on Gina and said, let's go with the girl that nobody knows, that nobody's seen in the golf space before. And then I think it worked out pretty well.
I'd say so. Yeah, I think you chose well.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
here you are many years later interviewing me on a podcast.
I'm on a podcast. That's what they were just saying. They're like, wow, what a fall from grace. It
And
really
the worst
worked
part,
out.
she was so like had nothing. We said, look, you have nothing going on. Please be a part of this podcast.
Yeah.
That was our pitch. Yeah.
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 Thing, right?
And I was like, I guess if I have nothing, I'll do it.
Podcasts are the norm now, not afternoon television shows on daytime afternoon television shows competing against game shows and soap operas. Now you do this. Now you do the podcast.
Yeah, it's like shitty sitcoms and
Yeah, which we still couldn't beat, but
no.
We tried.
It's funny though, Jason. I remember like I was hired to be just the travel host, and then we did one promo together where it's like, hi, I'm Jason. Hi, I'm Gina. Watch Score Golf, yada, yada, yada. And we were like laughing and joking around, and we had good chemistry. And I remember, I mean, of course I thought this because my ego is so big, but I remember being like, they should hire me as co-host.
Yeah.
Because we did have a good dynamic.
Yeah. And I think that quickly became apparent. And the other thing was, we kind of had an indication that maybe we weren't going to sell as much of this travel stuff as we had in the past.
Right.
And I remember like being asked, would you consider having a co-host? And I was like, absolutely. Like, I think we really wanted the show to have a new dynamic, basically, for a long time. And like Bob Weeks was awesome and is the most well-known golf journalist in this country, probably, and did a great job, but we wanted to do something different. So I just think having like another white man on the show, hosting it, doing everything, it wasn't going to work. So when we brought Gina in, it gave the show a different dynamic. It took work off my plate because now she was doing some stories and voicing scripts and etc. And also coming up with a lot of ideas when we were doing the stand-ups. And for me, it was just way easier to do it that way than sort of having the burden of doing everything myself. And I think when you're doing stand-ups, it's kind of easier to riff off somebody else than just kind of talking into the camera and trying to figure everything out as you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt. We actually picked Gene over Bob Weeks for this too.
That's true.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah. But we also vehemently regret the decision.
Yeah. Everyone regrets it eventually.
Sorry, I don't know this, Jason, but did you have on-air experience before this opportunity came up?
Yeah, I had basically been on the show, not as a guest because I worked for Score Golf, but I would come on to the show on occasion and provide some analysis. By that time I'd really taken over the duties of managing our course ranking process. So whenever we would do that 1 hour special, I would go onto the show and I would talk about the process, or I would interview some architects or some of our course raters. And, I think when we kind of had a new producer come in too, and he was like, to me, before Gina came to the picture, he was like, we need to get you on the show. We need to have more personalities on the show. And then when Bob left, it became a pretty easy decision to say like, okay, let's have two people co-hosting and bring something different.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
One story I remember Gina telling is when she played with a course architect and was just basically shit talking him the whole time. Do you have memories of this as well?
What I remember specifically about that was when I told Gina we were going to play, so it was Doug Carrick.
Yeah.
And, for probably 2 years, Gina had said the name Doug Carrick 75,000 times, right? Because he's designed so many golf courses in Canada.
Right.
And we were playing in an industry event. We have a Golf Journalists Association of Canada, and every year we have a tournament and an awards dinner and stuff. And I said, hey, we're going to play together in that tournament. We're playing with Doug Carrick. And she was like the Doug Carrick? the Doug Carrick? I'm like, yeah, there's only one really around. And I do remember we played at TPC Toronto, the Hoot course there, which I love. And the way Gina is, I think there was a couple times she's like, why did you put this tree there? Why did you put that tree there? I don't understand what this is here. Like just really rolling with it, right? And it was funny because Doug is such a quiet, unassuming, humble man, and he was giggling a little bit.
Right?
At the same time, he's like, is this girl for real? Like, what's happening? But that was a good day, actually. I enjoyed that.
It was such a fun day. Yeah, I remember like my putting just got worse and worse and worse, but my jokes got louder and louder and louder.
Yeah.
And yeah, Doug Kirk was like a really good sport about it. He was pretty fun to golf with. Had a
I think
great
we had some cocktails during the day too, so that's probably why you got
Yeah.
louder and louder and louder.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times at those things. Is it
Yeah.
like you've been in the golf industry now for like how many years?
Like 20
Wow.
at Square Golf. Yeah.
Whoa. So how would you, I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but how would you say it's changed over the decades?
I mean, in a million different ways. I guess it depends, Gina, if you're talking about how golf has changed or how media has changed, because obviously two different things. I mean, media has
Right.
changed. I mean, I can't even list the number: social media, podcasts, everything, Twitter. I mean, on all the time. It's when I started, it was magazines and print were obviously huge, and it was just about writing a really good story and assuming people were going to read it.
Mm.
And now when you write something, and I would preface this by saying, like, I'm not a big fan of social media. I'm on there and I'm somewhat active, but I'm not over the top active like some of my colleagues. And I feel like now as much work has to go into promoting the article that you've written as the article itself. It's not just enough to write a story, post it on the website, and be like, there it is, people are going to read it. Now it's like, well, I have to tweet it at least once,
Mm.
probably should tweet it 2 or 3 times, need to share it on Instagram. Should I share it on LinkedIn? Should I share it on like all these different platforms? And I feel like you're almost just shoving the content down people's throats, but that's how people get their content. They use Twitter as the ultimate curation site. I mean, I do it too. I go onto Twitter and I will link from Twitter to whatever news sites, whether it's in golf or sports or news or whatever, instead of going directly to those sites. So I find it a little bit discomforting, to be honest with you, but that's the way it is. And that's how it's changed. And I made this joke a couple times, but it's almost like if you go back 30, 40 years and a reporter writes a really good story and he walks into the local pub with the newspaper and he's like, holds it up and said, here's my story that I wrote. Make sure everybody reads it. And then he comes back 3 hours later and says, in case you missed it, it's the same barfly sitting there. In case you missed it, I really want to make sure you guys read this, right? Like you keep having to remind people of what you're doing. So I think that's the biggest way media has changed. And then, I mean, golf has seen peaks and valleys since I've started, right? I think it was at a pretty good high when I started as far as golf courses and the economy and the professional scene. And then it went through a valley. And then, of course, it went on its biggest high during COVID. And we've seen participation numbers grow and the interest grow and equipment sales grow and everything else. So, I mean, I've seen just about everything in my 20 years.
That's wild. Did you play as a kid growing up? Like, were you an avid golfer growing up?
Yeah, I was. I started playing when I think I probably started playing actual rounds when I was 5 or 6.
Wow.
And like I played a lot as a kid, and I was one of sort of a small few of my, hockey and baseball friends who played golf. And I played a little bit competitively just in like some junior tournaments and club tournaments like that. And I was a pretty good junior player. I wasn't great. And then I kind of lost interest altogether in high school because, like I said, like my friends weren't really playing. And you get to an age where your parents are saying, like, if we're going to buy you a membership, you have to go.
Right.
And also you have different interests. You have a part-time job, you have a driver's license, you have, social commitments and all these different things. So I kind of
Ex-girlfriends.
yeah, exactly. Right. I completely fell out of it for, I would say, 2 or 3 years. And then I got a job at a golf course the year after I graduated high school, the summer after, at Mill Run Golf and Country Club up near Uxbridge. And I was working at a country style donuts all through high school. And I'm like, I got to do something different. Right. And it was a chance to just get a job outside. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I used to play a lot of golf. And as soon as I started working, I just fell back in love with golf again. And I was, why did I ever quit this sport for 3 years, right? Like I absolutely loved it. And so just all in from there.
And sort of in terms of like ability level, what was your sort of height, or are you at your height now just in terms of your game?
I would say my height definitely came about 10 years ago, which coincided with not having children.
Right.
And playing often. I don't know, I think I got down to like a maybe high threes or low fours handicap
Wow.
index. Right now I think I'm around a 6. I mean, I almost don't play enough. I definitely don't play enough. I never practice. I don't really play enough to increase my handicap because I'm in a decent enough player that I'm never going to go out and shoot 95.
Hmm.
So I'll go out and I'll shoot 75 one day and I'll shoot 85 the next with no rhyme or reason. But that's basically the way golf is, right? I mean, just when you think you have it, you lose it the very next day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
quite true.
Do you ever get sick of golf, Jason? Like, I know you love it and I know you want to be playing more, but is there, you write about it so much, you're taking care of the entire magazine. There's all this golf talk around you all the time. Do you ever just want to get away from it?
Gina, I experienced that, I would say about, I don't know, I would say it was about 5 or 6 years into working at Score Golf. I started to really like just lose a little bit of my passion for the sport. Not never writing. I've never ever lost passion for writing or producing journalism. But I think back then I was playing a lot of golf, but playing a lot of golf for work and not playing enough golf with just friends, right?
Mm.
And I also think back then, I was in my mid 20s to late 20s. I still sort of took the game a little bit seriously. Like I would still get upset if I didn't play well. And I knew I was good enough that when I was playing for work related reasons, whether it was with fellow media colleagues or industry people, I should play well in front of them. And I remember kind of going like, man, like I'm not even sure I like playing golf as much.
Mm.
And then I don't know when it was, but I think I just started to make a point of just trying to play more with friends. And then I just really kind of got it back. And I think for me, that's why I love the game so much is, just the ability to get out there with 3 or 4 buddies or whatever it is and just have laughs and be outside and get away. And it doesn't really matter what you shoot. Like, we're not pros. Like we're not entering competitions. Like, yeah, sometimes you're going to play well, sometimes you're not. But just being out there with friends and really appreciating that 4.5 hours, which doesn't come enough anymore. I kind of think that's where I started to be like, yeah, man, like I will always love this game. And let's just make sure that when I do play, like I'm taking advantage of those opportunities and trying to play more with friends, with childhood friends, industry friends, whatever. Just go out and enjoy it.
That's
I
great.
see also that you're doing a bunch of stories around golf, right? It's not always, you do write the serious golf stories, but you're also pretty good at remembering that there are all these different angles,
Yeah.
lifestyle angles around golf that people are interested in. Like I really loved, although this is very golfy, but your feature that you did about caddying in Cabot.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was great.
That was so cool. I sent it to these guys today and I was like, you got to watch this before we talk to Jason. What was that like?
Yeah, it was fun. And I would say you're right. Like I've always considered like, especially when I'm writing big features like that. I mean, that you're right, that is golfy, or if it's a big profile, like golf is kind of the backdrop of
Mhm.
what I'm writing about, but you're ultimately writing about people. Like almost every piece of long form journalism you read is ultimately about people. It's either one individual or several people or whatever. And then those people just happen to do this. They just happen to be golfers, or they just happen to be tennis players, or they just happen to work at Apple or whatever it is, right? So it's really just about writing about people. So that idea had kind of percolated for a couple years, and COVID happened. It was something I wanted to do, and I knew that I wanted to do it because I would just meet some really interesting folks when I went out there. And I got really, I hate to use the word lucky, because there was obviously a bit of sadness to the one
Mm.
story with the gentleman who, spread his son's ashes on the 16th green. But I didn't know that was going to happen when I went out
Right.
there. The folks at Cabot Links didn't know that was going to happen. It just, the day that I was going to caddy at Cabot Links, I remember the pro coming up to me and saying, like, I'm still trying to find you a bag. We'll find you a bag. Don't worry about it. And then he came up and he said, oh, I've got these folks from Flin Flon. They seem like really fun people and they're totally up for it. Like, they don't seem to be taking their golf too seriously. Because when I went out there, I said, I don't want to caddy for anybody who's really serious. And they find out that their caddy, you know, has played Cabot Links like twice in his life and can't read the greens because he really doesn't know how they all break. Right? Like, I don't want to take away from somebody's experience. And certainly that didn't happen. And these folks were a tremendous amount of fun. And I mean, that's what it's all about, is you just get to know people. I mean, like, that experience was so fun because those folks from Flin Flon, I mean, they still email. Like, they want me to come to Flin Flon and like spend a week there fishing and playing golf. And like the one guy was like, can you send me some magazines, but can you sign the cover first? I'm like, well, no, because they come straight from the printer. Like, they don't come here, but I'm happy to send some. And like, I think that's what's at the root of golf, is just these connections you make to people when you're out there on the golf course. I mean, first of all, you can't get a better setting than that, really. So everybody's kind of in a good mood. But then you just, you know, have sort of similar personalities and share some interests, and you just have a great 5 hours with somebody who you didn't know that morning and now wants you to come and spend a week fishing and playing golf with him at his house. Like,
Amazing.
I don't think that happens in other sports, right?
I definitely didn't see, like, a couple things resonated with me, but well, one, didn't see it coming. This sort of former military, the veterans who had gone through, you know, mental health challenges and were sort of reaching out for others and wanting to identify them so that they could help them, came out of nowhere too, which was just amazing. You wouldn't have expected that. But I also was struck by, on a lesser note, your nervousness around caddying and not wanting to make mistakes, because I don't think I've ever told this story. My first job was when I was 15 at a golf course just outside of Ottawa, and it actually hosted a CPGA event at the time. And I was going to caddy, and I had never caddied before. And I didn't even get a warm-up round. And I made so many mistakes in the first 4 holes. Like, I did basically everything wrong. I reminded him of his score after 2 holes, which he was like, don't ever talk about the score ever. One time we were on the putting green and he asked for his ball, and I rolled the ball on the ground to him, that is completely against the rules.
Clean it again, please.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, he just had to walk over and was like, can you never do that? You're going to get me kicked out of the tournament, because that's us gauging the speed of the ground. I made so many mistakes. So your nervousness around not wanting to make mistakes as a caddy resonated.
Well, like, I'd caddied before. I'd caddied in a PGA Tour Canada event. I'd caddied in a PGA of Canada event for a friend of mine, but I was almost a little bit more nervous to caddy for a recreational golfer, because at least when you're caddying for a pro, like, they know what they're doing. They don't really need you to do much more than carry their golf bag and clean their clubs, right? But when you're caddying for somebody who's just out at Cabot Links, like, those caddies are there to try and, you know, raise the level of enjoyment those people get when they're playing. Now, the first gentleman I caddied for happened to be a villa owner, and he played Cabot Links a million times, so he didn't really need my help. Right. But you still want to make sure that their day goes smoothly, right? And the biggest thing is, when you're caddying, is like the head covers. I must have dropped his head cover 17, like his putter cover 17 times throughout the course of the round. I kept on, like, the photographer I had out there was pointing, like, and as soon as he pointed, I knew what I turned around, and the putter cover was 15 yards back, and I go and grab it. And you're like, oh my God. I remember when I caddied in the PGA Tour Canada event, like, several times I was walking towards the green with the pro, and instead of handing him the putter, I was handing him the head cover. And he's like, yeah, I can't putt. I need the putter.
What do I do?
And I remember writing about that, and I had like PGA Tour pros like text me or reach out to me and say, like, I can't tell you how many times I've been handed a head cover instead of the putter. It just happens all the time for whatever reason, right? Because you're trying to put one back in and take the other off, and you just use the wrong arm or whatever, and just, there's some embarrassing things that happen for sure.
As someone who always leaves something at a hole every round I've ever played in my life, I would be a disaster as a caddy.
Especially if you get somebody, like I said the first day, like, the guy had 5 hybrids in his bag, and I'm like, there's way too many head covers here. Like, there's 7 head covers. Like, there's no way I'm gonna get all this straight over the course of the round, right? It was almost better when the second gentleman had like one head cover and his clubs were clanging around. I'm like, but at least I don't have to worry about, accounting for all these head covers.
I've never worried about head covers. That's well, my only time caddying. I think I told this story. They had me carry a garbage bag full of ice and beer.
Oh yeah.
So there was no mistake. I literally just had to grab them a beer and go, here you go.
Yeah.
Well, they carried their own clubs.
Oh, okay.
Also Nova Scotia, and I was, I think, 13 at the time. But
Yeah.
What do you mean a garbage bag? Like just
It was
loose
a-
ice?
yes, it was a garbage bag, and it was so heavy, 18 holes
I bet.
in the sun.
The only good thing is it got lighter as you went, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh
Just
no, they
dripping?
refilled. They refilled.
Oh, they kept on
trust
refilling.
me.
Oh my God. New ice, new beers. Here we go.
Yeah,
Hey,
and they were my teachers. That was the crazy part. That's where I was caddying for 4 teachers as I get drunker and drunker.
They were
don't think
providing
they-
you an education.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think they offer that service at Cabot though. I think they've stopped doing
No.
that at Cabot.
Yeah.
No, if you had stopped at Antigonish on the way
Sure.
to
did
Cabot, you
actually.
could have. There you go.
I did. I stopped for lunch at Antigonish and on the way back to photograph a biomechanics professor at St. FX.
Oh,
who's
Sasho
doing-
Mackenzie.
Sasho, who's doing huge things in golf right now. So driving right by the school, why not stop and grab a photo of him?
More importantly, where'd you eat?
Oh man, I've stopped there twice now on the way to Cabot. I can't remember what it's called, but it's something.
Subway. Oh, the Snow Queen. Yeah, of
Snow Queen.
course.
Subway.
Yeah, the Snow Queen.
Snow Queen
Great.
Leisure World or the Snow Queen? There's two
Queen.
of them. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Beautiful.
great. Good
Yeah.
food. I'll stop there every time on my way to Cabot now. I love it.
Yeah, you should play the course too. Antigonish is a great course.
You know what? I tried actually. It's funny you say that. That trip when I went out there to caddy, I got in touch with the pro at Antigonish, and I'm like, I want to see this golf course because I've seen pictures on Instagram. Like Ian Andrew, the golf course architect, is doing some work out there, and he had posted some pictures. And I'm like, wow, the topography of this place looks really neat, and I've never heard much about it. And so I had a tee time, and the day we landed in Halifax, it was torrential rains, and the
Wow.
pro called me. He's like, our course is closed. Like it's flooded basically right now. So I was all lined up to play on the way out and I just never got to. So I'll try that again one time.
Let me know if you need someone to carry your garbage bag full of beer when you play.
Yeah, you're well experienced, it sounds like.
Given the profile of Score Golf in Canada, just where it sits, when you contact a course, are they excited? Are they nervous? Are they like, what is generally, I know obviously everyone's different, but generally what's the reaction?
I think it depends on what you're contacting them for. Like, we do the top 100 ranking, the top 59 ranking. We have a large panel of men and women who go out and rate these courses for us, and they're the ones contacting the course mostly.
Hmm.
And admittedly, there are courses in Canada, they're like, we want no part of this because
Really?
we don't need the exposure, or not real keen about where we sit, and we're not sure that allowing some more raters on will necessarily improve that ranking. And there's not much I can say about that, right?
Sure.
We don't place any onus on courses to have our raters out, to find them a tee time, to provide them any courtesies, anything like that. Like they just try and do their best. For me, to be honest with you, I rarely reach out to courses to just go and play, especially around Toronto, because I've seen them all. And I always feel like if I reach out to a course, it basically just sounds like I want to go play golf, right?
I see. Yeah,
Especially if it's a private club, because it's not generally something I'm going to write about for our audience. What I will say is when I travel, like the case being when I was going out to Cabot and I wanted to see Antigonish, I will definitely call and say, I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. I've never played your course. I've never seen your course. I want to see it. And they're always very receptive. Like, so when I went out to Vancouver 4 or 5 years ago, I'd never played Capilano. And I'm like, I have to see Capilano. It's one of the great courses in Canada. It's a Stanley Thompson design. I've got an afternoon off. I've got to go see it. And I think when I do that, the pros are appreciative. The fact that this guy's out here and he wants to come and see our course. So he did that with Calgary Country Club when I was covering the CP Women's Open in Calgary. I did that with Victoria Golf Club when I was out on Vancouver Island doing some stuff for Score Golf TV. So it's generally when I travel somewhere that I'm like, okay, I'm going to have some time. I need to go and see this particular course that I haven't seen before, because I need to educate myself on all of these courses. Plus, I just want to experience some of these great courses in Canada. Why wouldn't I?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to do is favor the East, right? Because the
Yeah.
courses in the West will pick that up so fast.
Well, yes. I mean, like the number one criticism of our rankings over the years has always been that there's way too many Toronto area and Ontario clubs on it.
Right.
We have a pretty stock answer for that. There's about 860 courses in Canada, which is more than triple any other province. So the math works out that there's going to be more courses from Ontario. And I mean, like back in the day, Toronto was where all the money was. Toronto had people in Toronto had the money to pull in Stanley Thompson or Donald Ross or Harry Colt or A.W. Tillinghast, all of these famous architects to come work in the city on these plots of land, whereas other parts of Canada didn't necessarily have that. So there is a reason why a lot of the top golf courses around Toronto. Interestingly enough, if you look at our top 10, though, you've got 3 in Cape Breton with the 2 at Cabot and Highlands Links. You've got 2 in Alberta with Jasper and Banff. You've got Capilano out in BC. So I think there's only 4 from Ontario in the top 10. It's just it has a greater quantity than other provinces.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the par 5.
Should we do it? We don't have
Yeah.
Monty to intro it, but
Oh, well,
Sure.
we don't have our intro guy.
Well, that's
Okay.
it. We just canceled the par 5.
all right. Question number 1, Jason, your favorite golf course. I'm very interested to hear this answer.
Yes, Jasper Park.
Okay.
Yeah, Jasper
Great.
Park in the Alberta Rockies.
Great
Man,
job.
first time I saw that course, I was just like, this is it for me. And I've played a number of great golf courses around the world. I've been to Australia, I've been to the UK, I've been all throughout the US, but I've always said if you could tell me there's one golf course in Canada I could play for the rest of my life, it's Jasper Park.
Wow. How many times you figure you played it?
I've only been out there twice, and I played it 2 times on both trips, so I played it 4 times total.
Wow.
It's such a cool mix, right? I mean, like you're in the forest, but
Yeah.
you're right by the water as well, which is
Yeah,
so
I mean, the setting is unmatched, and I mean, if you kind of do a deep dive on the history of the place, and you stand on every tee deck, and when you look at the green, every green is perfectly framed by a mountain peak. And then when you get to the green and you turn around and look back at the tee deck, every tee deck is framed by a mountain peak, and you're like, how in
Jesus.
the world did Stanley Thompson do this in the 1920s with like horse and plow? It's
Right.
just it's remarkable. So I mean, the setting is beautiful, the golf course architecture is fantastic, and it's also kind of it's a really fun golf course. It's challenging places, but it's also super fun, I think.
Mm.
Did
Did
you stay
Stanley
at the-
Thompson? Oh, sorry. Did Stanley Thompson put the mountains there? Is that?
Yeah, that's how he did it. He just moved the mountains, moved heaven and earth.
He's so good, so
Yeah.
good.
He is.
Did you stay at the lodge when
I
you
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Which is such a
spectacular.
cool
And it's
experience.
like I like Banff too, but Banff is, you got the Banff Castle, and Jasper is really different. It's more about, the lodge, and it's just a
It's
little
homey, right?
homey. Yeah, it just feels like
Mhm.
you're up at a cabin or a cottage or whatever, right?
Totally.
Jasper is so much better than Banff in all ways. I
Yeah.
will take that to my grave.
I agree.
And I've been told STD capital of Alberta. So Jasper has so much going for it.
Did
Yeah,
you learn that
yeah.
in Score Golf too, Daryl? Is that part of this?
No, I tried to write
That's
a
a
joke
different
about it.
magazine altogether.
I tried to write a joke about it because a guy told me it's one of the STI capitals of Alberta. I'm like, how can you have more than one? I don't understand.
No, it's like of North America.
Oh yeah.
my God.
Look at Gina. Gina's so proud all of a sudden.
Oh, I know my stats. Are you kidding me? No, I think it's either Canada or North America, but it's not just Alberta. Banff stands out as the STD capital
Oh, I
of
thought it was Jasper.
a bigger
Banff.
area.
Jasper?
Oh,
or
it's
Banff?
Banff.
Oh.
Oh
well,
man, your
then.
stats are all off.
Oh yeah, no, this person told me the wrong town, which now
See?
The
Now
Jasper's
you
even
like
better. Jasper's better.
The
Right.
people from Banff say that about Jasper, and the people from Jasper say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's
Totally.
one of the STD capitals of Alberta.
That's right.
They
I
end up
wasn't gonna,
sleeping together.
yeah, I wasn't going to ask this question, but now it's popped in my head. So and we can go around the table, but I have a story here. How much would you pay for a round of golf? Like, what's the most you would pay at a golf course? I just had this scenario. I was just in New Zealand on work, and I could have driven 6 hours and played Kidnappers Cove, which has been brought up on this show, and it's just one of the
Yeah.
most spectacular looking courses. It was $800, and I was like, I don't know if I could. And one, they just also got hit by a cyclone, so the roads were kind of messed up. I made the decision to drive only a couple hours and play $100 golf course, and it was fantastic. It was a phenomenal experience. But what is
What was the name of that course?
Rotorua golf course. That was the one that was in the volcano. Like the course was inside a volcano, which was just phenomenal. So super cool experience. If I ever got back to New Zealand, would I shell out 800 to play Kidnappers? Possibly. But going around the room here, what's the most you would pay?
300.
300. Okay.
I feel like we're on The Price is Right now.
I'd have to ask my wife how much I'm allowed to. But I would honestly, it depends on the golf course. If somebody came to me and said you can play Augusta National tomorrow for
Sure.
$1,000, I would spend $1,000
Right.
because I think $1,000 out of my bank account is worth a lifetime of stories.
Yep.
Of playing
Right.
Augusta National, right? So I think the one that always comes up is Pebble,
Yeah.
which I think is like 700 American, maybe more right now. And if I had the opportunity, I would pay that because I think if I woke up tomorrow with $700 less in my bank account, but I could tell people for the rest of my life that I played Pebble Beach,
Yeah.
I would do that.
That's weird because
I
we
agree
had
with
Gail Graham on an episode and she specifically said how much she didn't like Pebble Beach.
Oh
She
yeah.
just said it was just a boring course with a great view.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about that because I think a lot of people would favor Cypress Point, like right down the
Mm.
road
Mhm.
from
That's what she
Beach.
said, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess if it was Cypress Point, I would definitely play the $700 or whatever, but it's private and Pebble's public, so you're not going to get on that one.
Beryl, your threshold?
$75 is a lot of money.
We are comedians after all.
Yeah, you know what? It depends. Like, I don't know because you know how comedy works. Suddenly you have a bunch of shows and you have a bunch of money in your bank
Yeah.
account, and then you don't have any shows, and I got to stretch that money. But I'd probably, without my wife finding out, and luckily she just doesn't listen to these, I would probably go 250, 300 if it was
250.
someplace that I knew I was never going to be in that area again. Like,
Mhm.
Like
If
at
I
least
was-
you're there for a long time, right?
Sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Well, if you break it down by hour, you're only talking 30, 40, like a concert.
Totally.
What's that?
It's like a
$300,
big full
$400 now?
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just thinking about concerts. I'm like, yeah, I would rather play golf than go to a concert. So I would spend that amount on concert tickets. So okay, yeah, about around 300, but that's so much cheaper than I think a lot of people would spend.
Plus, I also
Sure.
have to factor in how many golf balls I have left to last me the season. Because, if it's early on in the season and I bought, the Golf Town Boxing Day sale and I bought 16 packs of golf balls, in June I got lots left, but by mid-July I'm almost out.
True.
So, that's another factor. It's a lot of money.
Jeff
Make
is one of
it
those
on.
guys that like searches for golf balls. Like he disappears during the round and he comes back out and he has his pockets full of golf balls.
And he's 6'7". His pockets are probably way bigger than a normal person.
Oh yeah. Carrying like 100 pounds worth of golf balls and he doesn't even notice it.
That's funny.
So Jason, part two of question number one is, other than Augusta, St. Andrews, or Pebble, the one course that you would most want to play that you haven't played?
I think the easy answer is probably Pine Valley, which is
Mm.
generally regarded as the best golf course in the world. It usually finds its way to number one on, the big American publications list in New Jersey. So I think that's probably at the top of my list. There's a really awesome looking golf course in Norway called, I don't even know how to really pronounce it. It's like Lofoten Links. So like this Lofoten, it's like a archipelago right in the northern tip of Norway on the Norwegian
Wow.
Sea.
Mhm.
And if you Google that place, it just looks spectacular. And I just think the remoteness of that, like it's impossible to get to apparently. But I think the remoteness of that is attractive. If you could ever have that one on your list to tell people about, that would be pretty cool.
There's one in Norway I saw, I'm not sure if it was that one, where for a certain part of the year, the sun doesn't ever go down, so you can play golf
Yeah.
24 hours a day. I'm not sure if it's that
well,
one or not. But
it has to be because it's way up north.
Yeah.
And like they do that up in the Northwest Territories in Yukon. They have tournaments where you tee off at like midnight, right? The Midnight Sun tournament. I think that's pretty cool. I haven't experienced that before, but it's, whether it's going up to, Northwest Territories or something, Yukon.
Iceland.
Iceland. You can do that in Iceland as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
That'd be so cool.
Question two, you can put together your ideal foursome with The caveat: no PGA, LPGA, or Live Tour players and anyone alive or dead who is rounding out your foursome.
Okay, I put some thought into this. And
Excellent.
I think you guys are going to like this answer as comedians. I would play with Larry David,
Oh,
Harry Seinfeld, and whomever annoys those two the most. And I would be a fly on the wall, and I would watch how incredulous both would be about this person's tics or mannerisms or whatever, and just
Yeah.
listen to them make jokes about this person for 5 hours.
what
That
if
would
it's you? What if you're the guy?
Yeah.
It's pissing them
and
off?
still that would be fine too. I don't think I could annoy somebody that much.
Well-
I think I'm a pretty medium personality, Gina.
Yeah, sure.
You can ask my wife, she might tell you differently. But yeah, I mean, obviously Larry David is a huge golfer. I mean, I'm a huge Seinfeld fan, huge Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. Like they would just do something ridiculous out there that I would be able to tell stories about for the rest of my life.
You know what's weird is how often the idea of conflict comes up
Yeah,
in
it's
this.
true.
Like
Good point.
people want someone to make fun of someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, or annoy
often.
someone else, or yeah.
Yeah.
Trash talk too, like it's an inherent part of golf, especially when you're golfing with buddies. Like, you know, you're out there, you're carving your buddies or whatever. I mean, that some of my most memorable rounds are just when you're playing like a heated match with a $5 Nassau, but you're playing with your buddies, so it is heated because you want to beat your buddies, and just the chirps and carves that come out throughout the course of the round is, I love that.
Or if you're playing with Doug Carrick and you don't like the
Making fun
way
of his
he's designed the
architecture.
course.
Right.
He didn't show me back. He should have.
No, he's too nice.
I know. It's very
He's
kind.
too nice, Gina. He's too nice.
Yeah, too kind.
Jason, on a hot summer day, bar cart comes around. You're on hole, let's say 8. What are you ordering from the bar cart?
If I'm playing well, I'm not ordering anything.
Wow. Okay.
I generally don't drink that much on the golf course, if at
Yeah.
all. But if I'm with the right people and I'm not playing well, like it's just a cold beer. Like I'm not too wild and crazy with, I drink
Well, that's good.
lagers and the odd glass of wine is my limit. But I don't drink a lot on the golf course, to be honest with you.
It's good.
Wine on the golf course would be weird.
Sparkling wine would be great.
You drank wine on the golf course when we played with Doug Carrick.
How many wines
did.
do you have, Gina?
Yeah, because Triple Bogey, who was like sponsoring the day and gave us beers,
Yes.
they have like a little white wine.
Yes.
And I remember I'm like, we don't have any beer, we have this wine. And you're like, that's fine.
I'm like, great, I'll give it to me. I'll take anything.
Why you been holding out on me?
Gina's wearing Jeff's pants. He just goes and stuffs the pockets full of bottles of white wine.
Exactly.
So you kind of the next questions are really around emotions. We either like to ask the angriest you've ever seen someone on the golf course, and or how do you keep from losing it? But it sounds like you've got a pretty good relationship with golf now.
Now, yeah. Like I was an angry junior golfer.
Yeah.
Right. Because I guess I was naturally good and then didn't understand why there were days when I didn't play well.
Yeah.
Like when you're 12 years old and everyone's like, yeah, you're a good golfer and you have a nice swing, but then you go out and you shoot 90, you're like, what is happening here? Like, this is ridiculous. And you get so angry. But I can still run hot the occasional time, like especially if I'm playing in a match and like for whatever reason I mess up what I think is a pretty easy shot. That bugs me, but I'm pretty good at letting it go now.
Nice. I wanted to ask earlier, but this is probably a good time too. The pressure did you feel a lot of pressure, A, being a good golfer, and B, given your job in like around colleagues, around other people to play well? Like, did that contribute to you not enjoying golf that much?
Initially, I think I did, yeah. And I think it just stems from being like, again, like I wasn't a great junior golfer, but I was pretty good, right? And I think it just stemmed from just assuming that you should be good at golf to write about golf. And I think it helps. I don't subscribe to the idea that, you know, you don't have to play golf or you can shoot, 130, but still be a great golf analyst. Like, I don't subscribe to that at all. I think the better golfer you are, the more you can understand the shots that the pros hit. But I think more importantly is nobody really cares how well I play the game, but if I'm a terrible writer, that's the problem, right? Like
Mm.
I'm a journalist, I'm a writer. It just so happens I'm writing about golf, but I feel like I'm a good enough writer. I could write about anything.
Mhm.
So I'm much more concerned if somebody came to me and said, like, you're a great golfer but a terrible writer, I would be humiliated by that, given my job. But if they said, I really like your writing, but you're not much of a golfer, I'd be like, oh, not a pro, but as long as you like
Sure.
what I write, I'll take that every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, did you go to journalism school?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
went
you
to
did.
Carleton. Yeah, so
Okay.
I mean, I was always I always excelled at writing. Like that was the thing I loved to do in elementary school and in high school. So like
Yeah.
going to journalism school was something I probably knew I was going to do when I was in grade 7 or 8.
Wow.
Certainly didn't know I was going to write about golf for a living. It's kind of worked out nicely because, as I said, like I started playing the game at a young age. I always thought I'd be writing with the Leafs or the Blue Jays or whatever. Just so happens this is the job I got, but it was always about writing for me. And now, as we talked about earlier, the media landscape has changed so much that it's not good enough just to be a writer. You've got to be able to do a number of things, right? Some
Mhm.
of which I'm okay at, some of which I'm not, but I'm
Well,
still here.
and catering it to each platform too, right? I mean, Twitter has a completely different vibe. They probably expect you to have like some opinions on Twitter. And then,
Right.
well, maybe on Instagram, you're doing like a really kind of like catchy caption. These are
Yeah,
different things that we've had to learn to
for sure.
mold.
For sure.
Yeah.
And journalism school at Carleton University from 1997 to 2001 taught me none of that.
Yeah,
The dogs are
mine didn't
special.
either. I was
Right.
like there during like when Twitter was just starting and we weren't learning it.
No. And I'm
No.
certain that journalism schools now, I mean, I'm sure
Yes,
there's a
there
huge
are.
emphasis on social media, right?
Yeah,
Is
I went back to my journalism school and I was supposed to talk to them, but that was part of it was like, oh, Gina is like, active on social media, yada, yada. And they did this big intro. And then there was this pause. Like they built me up so much in the intro. And then there was this pause and I was like, yes, I'm very rich. And then they were like, oh, we've got to move on. And then it ended and I didn't
oh
do
my God.
beyond just saying I am very
You
rich.
you didn't get a chance to qualify it at all.
I did. And then they're like, thanks so much for coming by. And I'm like, oh, no, I feel like I should maybe get back in there. And they're like, no, you're done. But anyway, it was that day that they did confirm to me that they have the whole social media
Yeah.
program.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Is
I thought you were going to say it was that day that you ended up on this podcast.
And that's, yeah, exactly.
She thought that was the worst part of her career, but little did she know.
There on in.
There. Is it easier or harder in the off season, like being a Canadian golf journalist? Do you have to I mean, obviously there's tournaments happening and that type of thing, but does our off season impact your job as a journalist at all?
Yeah, for sure. Because when you in the middle of December, when you've got a story idea that you want to, put together a 3 or 4 page story idea for the spring issue, which comes out in April, when I start thinking about, okay, how are we going to support this with art? What do I do? Right. It's just 2 feet of snow on the ground and we can't get a picture of this person how we would want to. So that's where you have to do a good job the previous fall to say, like, okay, like we always shoot all of our instruction articles in September or October for the following year because we can't do that in January.
Yeah,
Right. And even if there's sponsored content campaigns where companies like, we would like you to do this, and we're like, yeah, we'd love to do that, we can't do it now because we can't film it outside, we can't photograph it outside, we can't do this outside. So it's a huge handicap for us compared to like some of the American publications, because they can go and photograph. It's not even about the storytelling, because you can always do a Zoom or get on the phone with somebody. It's more like if you're trying to capture original photography, you can only do that maybe 4 months a year, because even sometimes in the spring and the fall, golf courses don't want you out there photographing because
Right.
it's not in great conditions.
Interesting. Actually, sorry, I have another question for you, because we were talking about we're a golf podcast. We're in the Canadian off season right now. We were talking
Yeah.
about numbers waning. In general, do Canadians' interest in golf, like, does it go down in the winter months, or are they still the people who are into golf? Do they stay into golf, in your opinion?
I think it spikes if a Canadian does something in the professional seen. Like if Brooke Henderson wins her first tournament in January, there's a spike in audience numbers. When Mackenzie Hughes or Adam Svensson wins, it certainly spikes come the Masters. That's usually when we see more traffic on our site start to pick up. As you guys know, the Masters is the most anticipated tournament on the calendar, and it also kind of signals that the golf season is here in Canada. And so when the Masters rolls around, people tend to be like, okay, it's golf season now.
Maybe, Daryl, we should plan to have the Masters champ on the podcast around that time. What do you think?
Yeah, great idea.
Scotty Scheffler?
He's already won this year's Masters?
Well, no, he's the reigning champion, but maybe, what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll get Gina to ask.
Call up my buddy Scotty.
Hi, Scotty, I'm very rich.
Hi. And that's all.
Yeah.
Hi.
Last question, Jason. Your favorite golf moment? So either something you experienced personally or saw on TV.
Like as far as covering the game, I would say seeing Brooke Henderson win the CP Women's Open in Regina, that was pretty special. She ended, I think at the time, it was a 45-year drought of a Canadian not having won the Canadian Women's Open. The drought of a man not doing so was even longer. But I think it was really cool that it was in Regina, a province that had never seen a championship of that caliber, had never hosted a men's or women's open. The people in Saskatchewan are golf nuts. Like, I think more than any other province, I find the people from Saskatchewan just love golf.
Wow.
And they were out there 6-7 rows deep on a 12-degree and rainy day, serenading Brooke Henderson with "Oh Canada." She came. It was you leave emotion out of this when you're reporting and writing, but I'll admit that I kind of got a lump in my throat, like watching it all go down. Like, it was just incredible. So that was really fun. Watching Mike Weir beat Tiger Woods at the President's Cup, because I was inside the ropes,
oh my God,
just steps from them the whole way around. That was really cool. And then from a personal standpoint, a couple of years ago, I took my kids to my parents' place, and they live on a 9-hole golf course in Wellington on the lake, near the sandbanks. And my dad, they live on the second hole, and my dad made his first ever hole-in-one on that hole in front of me and his grandkids.
Oh my God.
And it was just so awesome because, my dad is living with cancer. Can't really play as much as he used to. He's doing everything he can to get out on the golf course and play because he still loves the game so much. Whatever pain he is in, he will put that aside to play golf. And whenever I go down with the kids, my kids love going in the cart and going around the 9-hole course, and we play. And for him just to get a hole-in-one, like his first ever,
that's incredible.
It was so awesome to see. And the crazy part is that next year we went down, same group of people, same time of day, same hole, same pin location. And I hit a shot that landed 1 inch from the cup.
Oh my God.
Like, could you imagine how crazy it would have been if we both got our first hole-in-one on the same hole, like a year apart?
Oh my God.
Same time of day, kids, grandkids, the whole deal, my mom out there, like, it would have been amazing. Like, he like, to this day, he's still angry that I didn't make a one. He wants to tell that story, that both he and his son got a hole-in-one on the same hole, right? On the hole that he lives on. So that was really fun to see.
Your kids would have such skewed expectations for golf.
They already do. All the time they say, like, "Oh, well, Grandpa got a hole-in-one. It can't be that hard." I'm like, it is. He was just lucky. No, that was pretty cool.
That's amazing. What a great way to end. That super cool to meet you, man. I really appreciate it. I know you talked about playing courses in the city or around the city, but I'm a member up at Spring Lakes. If you'd ever want to get out to Spring Lakes and Stouffville and play, we would love to put a foursome together and
sure. Sounds good.
That would be
that sounds fun.
And thank you for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I hope it worked out all right for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's tell everyone where they can find you. So Jason, Score Golf is now with Toronto Star. So he's
that sounds very weird.
Not willing to give out my address.
Stucco with a flower bed.
Scoregolf.com. Score Golf is co-owned by the Toronto Star and Golf Town. So much of what I write appears in the Toronto Star sports section. I write a column that appears on our website and in the Toronto Star every Tuesday. And then Score Golf Magazine, we produce 4 copies a year, and you can pick that up at golf towns and at almost every golf course in Canada.
And your socials, since we are journalists after all.
Yeah.
Your,
Jason at Jason Score Golf for Twitter and Instagram. I don't post a lot of stuff on my Instagram. It's mostly just photos of my kids and some golf courses that I've played. But follow at Score Golf on Instagram, because that's where we do a lot of our stuff. And then same handles on Twitter.
Awesome. Nice speaking with you, Jason. Hopefully we'll be back together on a golf course soon.
Of course. All right. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
all right.
man.
Have a good afternoon.
Hey, bye everyone.
Bye.
What a unbelievable guest. I don't know, Gina, if we could have got him without you. So thank you for that. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just an ideal guest.
Yeah,
Gina-
he's such a good guy, you know, and he's a quality human on top of being a good golfer and good writer, which is always nice.
And it's just nice to see Gina finally pulling her weight.
Not just trying to sidle into the lead host chair
No,
Yeah.
as per normal.
no.
Just weaseled my way into this podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to do some editing. Would you? Would you really?
Actually,
I just
cut you out?
Let her do the editing. For God's sakes. Why are we talking about this in the outro? This is
I don't know. We're just airing dirty laundry in the outro.
Just
No,
feel like you're a
fantastic.
sponsor.
Yeah, fantastic guest. Thank you, Jason, for coming on. Thanks everyone for listening. Hope you're all doing well out there. Next week, hopefully Monty will be back from the woods, and he's not.
Yeah, hopefully that gas leak, he's okay.
Yeah.
I hope he shows up on that movie, Cocaine Bear.
I feel like they've already filmed it, but there's a chance.
You never
You
know.
know,
It's
If you
doing
can show up
well.
on Up the Creek, then he can show up on Cocaine
Right?
Bear.
He
We
would
all
just be
do cameos.
gas huffing Monty. That would be his cocaine bear.
Exactly.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
And something distracted him. All right.